Hello gentlemen, Mr. Brown coming at you again with another video lecture. Today we're going to be talking about narrative poetry. So what is narrative poetry? Well, as we know, a narrative tells a story. So narrative poetry is a poem that tells a story. Remember, poems don't have to tell stories. Poems can describe something, poems can simply capture a particular moment. But remember, a narrative poem is going to have characters, it's going to have settings, and it's going to have a plot. Narrative poetry has an ancient history. We can go back to 1800 BC to find the Epic of Gilgamesh, a Sumerian epic poem, meaning it is of great length, and it tells really their religious history. The ancient Greek epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer, are both examples of narrative poetry, as is the story of Beowulf. So remember, gentlemen, the novel, as we know it, like novels that we read in class, was not a popular form until the 17th, 18th century. So before that, when people wanted to communicate a story, they would oftentimes do so through narrative poetry or theater. And sometimes you would have those two things brought together. Here's a short narrative poem by Robert Frost entitled "Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening." Whose woods these are I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. The little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. So while this poem is quite short, it tells a story, and we have our narrator as a character, we have the horse as a character, our setting is obviously the woods on a snowy evening, and there is a plot, so this does qualify as a narrative poem. We can compare this to another Robert Frost poem entitled "Nothing Gold Can Stay." Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. While nature plays a part in both Robert Frost poems, this one does not have a narrative poetry style. There are no characters, there is no clear setting, and there is no plot. So this would not be a narrative poem. So let's jump into our Analyze the Text section on page 292. And the first question, number 1, asks us to summarize. Reread lines 6 through 14. What is the plan that Paul Revere discusses with his friend? What is the purpose of this plan? We probably remember from history class that the plan was that his friend would find out if the British were coming by land or by sea. So he would hang a single lantern in the church tower if they're coming by land, 2 lanterns if they're coming by sea. And once Paul Revere sees the signal, he would ride to the neighboring towns to sound the alarm and alert them. Number 2, analyze. Review lines 24 through 56. Tell what events these lines describe. What are some sensory details that help you imagine the events and setting? So this is that part where Paul Revere's partner hears the boats rolling in and he climbs the bell tower to confirm what he has just heard. And if we go back, we see some sensory details. The tramp of feet, the measured tread, startled pigeons from their perch, masses and moving shapes of shade, the watchful night wind, whispering through the churchyard, and lines 55 through 56. Number 3, analyze. Review lines 57 through 72. What words does the poet use to help you understand Paul Revere's character and how he behaves while he waits for a signal? We see words like impatient, a heavy stride, impetuous, watched with eager search, and springs. All help readers see that Revere's a man of action, that he's both careful and also ready. And he acts impatiently because he's anxious to warn people of the attack. Number 4, interpret. Read lines 73 through 86 aloud. Is the rhythm in these lines slow and leisurely, or quick and insistent? How does the rhythm contribute to the action? If we go back, we see it's quick and insistent. It actually mimics the gallop of the horse that Revere is riding on as he goes through the towns, shouting that the British are coming. And number 5, identify patterns. Review lines 87 through 110. How does the poet use a refrain to develop plot events? Why do you think he includes the information in lines 97 through 100 and 107 through 110? By beginning each stanza with "it was 12, 1, 2" by the village clock, the refrain helps show the passage of time as Revere moves through the towns. It also keeps the action moving forward. Lines 97 through 100 and 107 through 110 give a glimpse of the near future, the bloody work of the battle to come and the lives that will be lost. So that'll do it for poetry for this collection. Tomorrow we'll be looking at some contemporary decisions that matter. Please reach out if you have any questions at all, and I hope you're all doing well.